Manchester United and Everton share the points in a 6-goal thriller, and Manchester City annihilate Liverpool at Anfield to cement their spot at the top of the Premier League. Let's pick it all apart. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Added Time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Added Time. This is the first show proper. My name is Sonny G, and I'm joined by John Scott.
Hey.
How's it going, John? You good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Excellent.
A lot better after today.
A lot better after today, yeah? Well, let's bring in Mike. You've only seen him on every single internet podcast. Anchors. How's it going,
That's
mate?
what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's
great,
it.
guys. Yeah, not bad at all.
I think great's probably a bit of a stretch, ain't it?
Well, wasn't our best match of the season, to be honest. A few goalkeeping errors, but I'm sure we'll get onto that in a moment. So wonderful to see you both, as always.
And you, mate. We would usually be joined by an Everton fan, but apparently he's had too much enjoyment celebrating 1 point last night, so he clearly is lost somewhere. But either way, we are joined.
Fergie time, Sonny.
Yeah, I think just a touch, mate. Blimey. And we are joined by a very special guest this week, Omega Luke, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, guys. How's it going? Thank you very much for having me on.
No problem at all, mate. Pleasure to have you. We're very much looking forward to this one today because, this weekend's results were tasty. I would say we're very tasty set of games. Oh wait, here we go. Oh,
I'm coming. I'm en route.
Oh, look at this. He's building.
Blimey, Stu.
Again. He likes.
Better late than never, I guess, eh?
1 second, boys. I'll be with you.
It's right. We're only live. Don't worry about it.
Carry on, Sonny. Carry on. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
All right. What a professional outfit we've got. Here he is. Look. There we go. There's Stu.
All right,
Everton fan, fresh off celebrating a point.
Fucking gets in.
Hey, what's the swearing about?
Yes.
I'm joking.
Come
you can swear.
on.
It's fine. It's fine.
If the boot was on the other foot, you'd been happy with that, lads, I reckon. So I was happy with that.
To be honest, if I supported a mid-table team, you're right. I would be delighted.
We're not in the mid-table. We're not in the mid-table.
Not yet.
We're in there. We're still in there. Sorry, Sonny.
That's all right, mate. It's good to have you here again.
No problem.
Luke, you're a Man United fan.
Yeah, unfortunately, it would seem for the last 10 years. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, 10 years. I don't know about 10 years, mate. I think maybe.
Yeah,
well,
when was the
actually,
last
it's
one?
clocking on 10 years, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
it's
our
clocking
last
on 10
title
years.
win
Fair
was
enough.
a bit of because the rest of the league were pretty crap as well.
Yeah, that was the same last season as well, wasn't it? That's why.
Yeah.
That's why Liverpool won it.
No, here we go.
Right, so if you're unfamiliar with added time, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to run down the results from this weekend. We did predictions for these about 17 weeks ago because for some reason that's what Rich wanted us to do. So we've got a producer Rich in the background. He's going to cover Stu's face up with the results from this weekend. And John, lead the way, my friend.
All right, so let's start then with my arch rivals over at Arsenal and the game between Aston Villa and Arsenal yesterday. 1-0 to Aston Villa. Don't know if you guys saw it, but yeah, I've got a good mate, believe it or not, who is an Arsenal fan, and he says to me that he thought that they were out of the bad times, but it looks like they've gone straight back into it again. So. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans have been talking about should they have sacrificed the FA Cup now because now they're not doing anything this week in the midweek, and it looks unlikely that they're going to sort of make it any higher in the league.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on there? I don't understand. Arsenal are a massive club. They are. There's no denying that at all. But what's the issue there? I mean, they haven't been the same since Wenger left. But they've got a good group of players. But something. I mean, is it the manager? Is it attitude? I don't understand. What is the problem with Arsenal? I mean, they're a massive club.
He's still early.
They went concentrating yesterday. If anyone watched the match, 75 seconds in, and Watkins had scored already. That was a lack of concentration. That's one of their issues. And then they did have a few chances, but Aston Villa, I would say, had more chances. They were. Were really good. Grealish could have scored. Watkins could have scored again. The only couple of standout moments really were Xhaka had a great free kick for Arsenal, but apart from that, they look a bit tame to me compared to Arsenal of the past. There's something missing there, and the manager's got to turn it around quite quick because at the moment they're not looking great, are they?
No, not at all.
He needs to spend. They need to give him some money, I'm sorry, it needs some conkers, doesn't he? But you'd be jumping the gun asking him to sack him. I'm sorry, you can see what he's trying to do, but he's still early into his range, you know what I mean? You don't want a Lampard scenario where he's gone. And I still don't think Tuchel's gonna do it at Chelsea. I'm adamant, but yeah, Arteta needs time, in my opinion. Needs time to get it. Why have they loaned Joe Willock? I didn't understand that one because he has been getting in the team and he had a half decent game up at Newcastle yesterday. Just seems a bit iffy to me. I wouldn't have let him go. Maitland-Niles, I know he's been on the cusp of the team, but if they get some injuries, they could have done with them too, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's a mixture of bad signings, isn't it? The last couple of years, just poor signing after poor sign. I think Tierney's really the only one who has been a bit of a standout and a positive for them. I think David Luiz has been terrible at times and okay at others. Willian, they thought he was going to be a bit of a saviour. The last few games of the season last year at Chelsea, he started to turn it on again and be the player that he was like 4 or 5 years ago. And then again, it's not worked out for him at Arsenal, and he's one of the worst signings that they've made for a long time. That mixed with the fact that Aubameyang and Lacazette aren't exactly in form right now. I mean, when I was growing up, Arsenal always had like 2 or 3 world-class players. Your Henry, your Bergkamps, Vieiras, even your Tony Adams, and they haven't had a player like that for years.
No, totally agree with that. I mean, Aubameyang is probably as close as it gets to that. I mean, his record at Dortmund was just unbelievable. And he has done a decent job for Arsenal, but he's not set the world on fire. He's not.
No.
There's just something about them. I don't know if it's a lack of hunger or, I mean, like you said, Luke, I mean, bad signings. It's just so difficult to put your finger on. I mean, I've got mates who are Arsenal fans and, they really do feel are done to. There's, all the usual ref conspiracies and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not having it. I just, there's just something amiss at the club, and it's it's not conspiracies or that the world's against them. It's just that they're crap. and that I can't even put it in any more of a polite way than that. They're just not at the races. I mean, where are they sitting in the league at the minute? 10th, 11th? Not good enough for a massive team like that. They are mid-table now, literally.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. 10th. They are literally mid-table.
So the other scores from yesterday, we had Burnley 1, Brighton 1. Suppose a fair result on reflection when I was watching that back. Don't know what anyone else thought. Newcastle 3-2 was quite the game.
Mental.
So
9 men. Down to 9 men, and they couldn't break them down. They had eight players and the keeper behind the ball. I had the radio on. But I was expecting. I thought Southampton are going to get at least a draw now, but they just could not. They could not get it in the net. They just not for the want of trying, but
Ings hit the post right near the end, didn't he? As well, so it was almost a big equaliser there. But I thought they were Newcastle were looking good, and it was Willock, wasn't it, who scored for them early doors as well. Yeah, they're a good performance, and to beat Southampton, I wouldn't have predicted that, to be honest. When we did our predictions, Newcastle have really turned it around the last couple of weeks. So good on them.
After they beat us last Saturday, though, let's be fair to them. They were in a bit of a mire, weren't they? They were struggling, and Brucey's had a good couple of wins in the last 3, so they've got themselves out of it now, surely.
I think so. I mean, there's still a lot of football to be played, but they seem to have found some sort of form, and fair play to them. Steve Brucey was getting a lot of grief. Probably looking at the sack. I mean, especially if you listen to a lot of Newcastle fans, they're not happy or weren't happy. But, he seemed to have gotten playing a bit. And, maybe they are, going to do well enough to stop themselves getting relegated. I mean, I think they will. They'll stay up this season, but they really need to, probably chuck some money at the club next season. And if they're going to stay in the Premier League, because, they are an incredibly hit and miss team, Newcastle. But I think they could do all right.
Sonny, I was going to say Southampton have become a little bit hit and miss recently because they have really flying high. But then yesterday 2 good points for them to take away was Ward Prowse's free kick was an absolute peach. What a goal that was! And also Minamino, who Liverpool have sent down to Southampton, scored an absolute belter as well. He didn't do anything like that playing for us. And it's literally, he didn't. He scored 1 tap in the first game of the season or something, and then that was a peach yesterday. He scored.
Great move for him. That is, Mike. He's going to play every week. Great, fantastic bit of business for them. That.
I think it's probably a good move for him, definitely as well. I mean, he probably didn't really get much of a sniff at Liverpool, did he, Mike? To be fair.
He was coming on about 75 minutes in a couple of games, but
I mean, you can't.
The games he did play, he didn't perform well, unfortunately for us. But you could always see there was something about him, but it just never materialised on the pitch, unfortunately. So, I was excited in a couple of games, thinking, "Oh, here we go," but just didn't happen. And then suddenly he's at Southampton, 10 minutes in or whatever. Yesterday, buries one.
Hopefully he'll have a good second half of the season there, and then come back to you guys next season and not be as good.
Re-energized, yeah.
Flog him on.
We've got
and the other game, in the other games, we had Fulham 0, West Ham 0.
Surprised at that. Really surprised at that.
I think I got close to that. I think I remember that prediction. I had to do about God knows how many weeks in advance.
From the olden days, I don't remember
that. But finally, of course, the big one with some of the guests in here: Man United 3, Everton 3, and what a thriller that was towards the end. I'd shut that match off at like 80th minute, thinking, "Man, that's over. Man United have got it in the bag." I did not see that coming at all.
Stu, I'll let you take the lead on this one, mate, before I step in.
Oh, no, come on, don't be like this, Sonny.
No, I'm not. Last night I was fuming. Last night I was seething, mate. I was at boiling point.
I'll look at it from your point of view as well. You should have been home and hosed. You had the chances. You bossed it for half an hour in that first half. We had the ball for the first quarter of an hour quite a bit. We didn't do much. We didn't do much with it, did we? you should have been out of sight. But I don't know. I was not expecting that. But that's down to the manager, I'm afraid. That's the manager we've got. And that's the belief that he instills in that team. It wouldn't have happened under Marco Silva. We wouldn't have clawed that back. You would have killed it off. It's down to Carlo. Yeah, it's got to go down to the players. But yeah, I'd be aggrieved. I'd be pissed off if I was you guys. And you were pissed off. You should have beaten. You should have won it. You should have won the game. Should have signed, sealed, and delivered. But fantastic from us. Your front four were brilliant. Just a shame they weren't switched on at the back, wasn't it? I know you were going crazy last night, Sonny, with it. So
I was livid.
Champagne, Stu?
Sorry?
How was your champagne?
Champagne? Maybe if we win some silverware, Michael. I got a couple of bottles, actually.
It'll be a vintage by the time you get
it. It's dusty. It's got bloody... Yeah, it's dusty, mate. 1995. It's got bloody all sorts of crap all over it. Yeah.
I think the problem was he brought Tuanzebe on, and again, it was a stupid mistake from him that cost us the game. It was a needless foul to give away in a stupid position, but you can't. All the blame can't go on him. De Gea had, that first goal that you scored, he basically gave it to you. I don't know what he's doing.
Oh yeah, and in the same token, Sonny, Olsen was no better.
No.
And what was I saying? At the start of the week, I was like,
yeah, you were happy that he was going to play.
He's going to be great. He's going to be brilliant. He was no better off than having Pickford in goal, because the same sort of thing would have happened. But
he fell over, didn't
he? And then he's looking at his studs afterwards. Yeah, come on, get a grip, sunshine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the best pitches in the world, and he's having a look at his studs and looking at the pitch, thinking, "Oh bloody hell, they put a divot there, haven't they?"
Them two need to take a look in the mirror. I'm afraid. They really do. Both.
I mean, Luke, I'm going to bring you in here. How do you assess that yesterday? I mean, we were 2-0 up, flying, dominating the ball. Everton didn't even have a shot in the first half. And then, 7 minutes into the second half, it's 2-2. And, it takes that to get us back in that rhythm again. I mean, that shouldn't be happening. If you are serious about challenging for titles, which, don't get me wrong, I never thought in a million years we would win it. But if you're up and around there, it's the hope, isn't it?
Yeah. I think the trouble is as well, we've had so many victories which have come where we've been behind chasing the game and we've had to pile on the pressure. Yeah. Once we scored the 2 goals, we kind of just been like, ideal, that's it. And that was completely wrong because for the first 15, 20 minutes, they were all over us. And I was watching it thinking, it's happening again. I kind of wanted us to concede because I thought, as long as if we concede, then we're going to start turning it on. Thankfully, we got a couple of goals and it was like, brilliant. This is going to be a nice, easy win now. And for some reason, the actual players treated it as if it was going to be an easy win. We came out at half-time, high-fiving each other, and we just got caught straight away. I mean, a great comeback from Everton, and then we managed to salvage something. We had a little bit of luck. Olsen trips, McTominay's header, which I don't think he meant to put it in. I think he hit it against someone else, and it somehow went in there. Yeah, we had a little bit of luck, and then I'm against bringing on other defenders. I think pack out your midfield. I'm never in the belief of bringing on more defenders because unless someone is injured or you're getting absolutely tonked, I don't think you should disrupt your back line. We are playing poorly in the back line, but adding another one there in the middle of a game is kind of a bit confusing. You're asking people, what do I do now? Who have you been marking the whole game? Whereas if you pack out the midfield, it's kind of a little bit better and you stop the pressure being invited on. And that's basically what we did. We invited the pressure on and it cost us in the end. We took off players who we can use to catch people on the break, brought on another defender. I would have rather have brought on another midfielder and kind of packed out it that way. And giving away a stupid free kick. Maguire, £18 million for a guy who doesn't know how to play offside is an absolute joke. The leadership he needs to be stripped of the captaincy at the end of the season. Let him have it to the end of the season because I don't think we've really got much to play for now. We've got the FA Cup, that's fair enough. But league-wise, let him carry it out. But Bruno's got to be wearing that armband next season.
He has to be, He has to be. I think
he's the best player in the league, boys. I'll say it right now.
He's a natural-born leader. You can see. I remember watching one of his first games. This time last year was his second game, and he was bossing people around. And I thought he's got the audacity to come into Manchester United. from Portugal and just be like, right, you go do this, and telling people what to do. That's a natural born leader. Harry Maguire, he just looks like he's too dumb to do something like that.
Can I just come in for a second here, just because I didn't say about a player who did fantastic, and I've been critical of him. Tom Davis was absolutely brilliant last night.
He was
110% in there. I hold my hand up. I hold my hand up, lads. I've slated him many a time with a lot of the other Evertonian fans, but I tell you what, he put a shift in yesterday. He was brilliant. He was so good, and he deserves a pat on the back for last night because he's come under fire. He's come under fire off a lot of Evertonians. So yeah, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as 2 points dropped. It felt like a loss. It's one of the only times this season I've really felt aggrieved, like annoyed at the players, and I really felt like it felt like a sucker punch. It felt like a loss. It really hurt, not because of Everton and who were playing. Obviously, Everton are a good team. They're up there competing for top four. But it was the manner in which it happened and the way that the defence switched off and the way that De Gea keeps making these stupid mistakes. It just felt like the lads from the midfield upwards played brilliant and deserved the win. And then, Wan-Bissaka and Shaw were great. And then you've got them two clowns at the back who just really, really let us down. And it's just we need another right back as cover, and we need two centre halves. We need to spend big to get them. Stop faffing with midfield players because we've got them. Everything from midfield upwards is great, but it's going back that's the real problem there.
Greenwood was good for you last night.
Good player, it's great.
I'm focusing on Everton, obviously, but I thought Greenwood did all right for you. My man over here is not agreeing.
So there's times where I think, that's good, but that he does something which really frustrates me. And when I used to play like grassroots, it used to frustrate me as a striker when I used to have a fancy winger who wanted to cut inside all the time. Because there's so many times Cavani made a darting run. He was great off the ball, Cavani. He's so clever. So many times he made a fantastic run where he needed to be slipped in down the channel, which would create a good attack, or he'd be played through on goal. And Greenwood and Rashford, instead of doing that, figured, I want another touch, and then cut inside, and then I'll pass it backwards now. And it's just like, for Christ's sake, like the whole point of us being a counter-attacking team is for those players to get on the ball and feed players in. And so many times I felt sorry for Cavani because I can see himself getting frustrated because the amount of good runs, he could have had like 3 or 4 one-on-ones and maybe a hat-trick. But yeah, I mean, Greenwood, so many times he should have played a cross, he should have played a through ball. He just holds on to the ball a little bit too long. But that is an experience, isn't it?
Definitely.
He's still a young player. He needs to work on his decision makings.
I agree, and I think it also shows why we do probably need to buy a right winger and stop trying to play Rashford there because he's much better off the left. I mean, it's just a different gravy off the left. You play him on the right and he does nothing pretty much all game, and then you put him on the left and he's a terrifying player. I wouldn't want to play against him, but
no,
I'm fat and slow. So
I was going to say, guys, Cavani scored that header early on, but in the comments at the moment, Chris Humes just put that if Yerry Mina was playing, that Cavani header wasn't happening.
I didn't want Michael Keane at the back last night, if I'm honest. He didn't look great, Michael Keane, And look how many headers Mina won against Leeds midweek. Chris is correct, like, absolutely. Mina starts ahead at the back with me with Ben Godfrey. Mason Holgate wasn't very good yesterday.
No, he wasn't. No.
He was at 6s and 7s when you were coming at him. But Yerry Mina... Cavani's fantastic. I'm not knocking him, but I don't know if he would have got that header because Mina is a colossus in the air at the back for us. He is very good.
Yeah. So 3-3, 2 points dropped. Let's move on to. But good point for you, Stu. I'm happy for you, mate. I am.
Sonny, I was made it.
I can imagine you were, mate. Yeah. I can imagine you were.
Champagne's coming out, mate. Champagne's coming out after this.
Got that bottle out.
Gareth,
blows the dust stuff it.
Get the Bollinger out.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to today's games. Obviously, my beloved Tottenham, who I'm still not 100%, even after this result, I've got to be honest with you, I'm still not convinced. 2-0 today. Again, odd selection. A lot of fans starting to get really irritated now. I keep saying this all the time, but if there were fans in that stadium, I I'm not sure the players would be able to get away with this style that Mr. Mourinho likes us to fulfill, regardless of what the score seems to be. 2-0 today, but I've got to be honest with you, Dele Alli, not even in the squad. We've now got Scarlett, who's making the bench, who's a great player, by the way. He's going to be something, but it's unbelievable.
Awesome.
Gareth Bale sitting on the bench, playing with his hair. I mean, it's the same thing. He's gone from one bench to another. It's a nightmare. Mate, I was all for Bale when he come back. I was up in arms, got to go and get the top, all the rest of it, number 9. I can't understand what is going on there. Is Daniel Levy just like cashing in on the T-shirts or, the sales of that, and then we flog him back? They're doing that at the moment with Tottenham women. They seem to sign like a famous women's player for about 3 months, and then they go. So I've got a feeling it's a similar situation. But before this game, we'd lost 3 on the trot, which I think was the first time since 2012. And a lot of fans were saying, if he didn't, come out of this with a win, that maybe we'd be looking for another manager. To be honest with you, I don't think that would have happened. I think if anything, Daniel Levy will wait until the end of the season, because there's no one really about at the moment that's, we'll probably have to look. Yeah.
Who would you get?
Yeah, that's what I mean. To be honest with you, if I was going to do a quick fix, as crazy as this sounds, I'd just bring Harry back. I'd bring Harry back till the end of the season, get his arm around Bale, get his arm around all the other players, and just let them go gun-ho until the end of the season, see where we come up at. But other than that, there's no point trying to go after a manager now on a long-term basis at the minute. But it's one of those things. I've not given up on Jose. I know that the whole thing is he wins trophies. That's why we brought him in by all accounts. I know he's got that. I can't discredit it. Everywhere he's gone, he's won a trophy. So maybe I've got to wait till the end of the season. It's just a real difficult thing, because we've always played great football, especially under Poch, and before that. But I feel like our identity has just completely gone. And I want to win a trophy, and I know we didn't win a trophy by playing all this wonderful football. So it's a real hit and miss for me. I don't see us beating Man City though on the League Cup final after seeing what I saw today. I've got to be honest.
Jose does this. I mean, it's one of them things with him. You think he's probably on the verge of losing his job, and then he sneaks a little victory in there and keeps his job for another week. It was the same when he was at United. Football was so negative. It was like, when he first comes in, he brings all this excitement with him. He brings all this Jose Mourinho press, loving with him because of how he talks, and he says like he's happy and talks about himself in the third person and all that stuff. But a few months in, he's got his teeth into the team, and they're just playing super defensive. And it's the same with you now. I mean, you've got all these fantastic attacking players. You got Son, you got Kane, Lucas Moura, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's got Tottenham playing. But then the last few weeks has been the opposite of that, and it's been a bit of a backlash against him. But it's the same pattern every single time with Jose, and it's amazing to me that top tier teams, like teams who want to challenge for the Premier League title, keep going for Jose, because he's won trophies, but when was the last time he won the league?
Chelsea, wasn't it? Chelsea.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Jose, and it's always happened, even in his time at Porto, his teams are based around a solid defence. To win the league, Jose needs the best defence in the league. Every time he's done that, he's had the best defence in the league. He's had Carvalho and Terry. He's had Sergio Ramos when he was there. Inter Milan, they had fantastic defence when he was there. And that's how he builds his team. And now, when he was at United, we had a terrible defence. We had a terrible defence for years. If he had Ferdinand Vidic still, we would have bossed that league. It would have been so easy, because he bases his game around a really solid defence. And unfortunately, Tottenham have a decent defence. They don't have the best defence in the league.
Yeah, I agree. John, would you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. The only good defender we've got is Reguilon, and he's out injured. So, to be honest, he's the most consistent one that we've brought in my opinion. But Alderweireld, he's coming to the end, really, if I'm honest. Yeah. He's been a great servant, no doubt about it. Eric Dyer is not a centre back for me.
No, he's not.
He's a CDM. He's a CDM.
Yeah,
100%.
I've never.
I think it's a Jose thing. I think he liked him ever since back in Portugal, and he likes the fact that he stands up to people. I think it's just more of an attitude thing than a playing.
Yeah.
But Eric Dyer, I mean. Swap. Eric Dyer, the only reason he was coming off good is because of how defensive we was. Really, that he got the plaudits, if I'm honest. But yeah, we haven't got the right. I thought we were going to get a top defender in the window. I think that's what we should have gone after, but they didn't do the business, and I think we'll struggle now with that until Aurier. He's always got a crazy mistake in him. You don't know what he's going to do. Sometimes he's either fantastic or he just gives away something crazy. Matt Doherty, unfortunately, hasn't come in and produced because he's more of a wing back, and Jose doesn't really need that. So I'm really struggling to work out who scouted that and put that one across the line, because it just makes zero sense. So without sounding too negative after a win, I've got a feeling we'd be very lucky to get top 6 at the moment.
John, I was going to say, Kane and Son did the business for you again, though, didn't they? And Kane came up on some sort of didn't he come up on some sort of record today? Is he second place now? Most goals scored, 208 goals.
Yeah, and I think they're on the cusp of between them two as well. As far as a partnership with assists for each other, I think there's a record going on that as well. I don't know who's currently got it, but I know that's up for grabs.
Imagine he wasn't so injury prone, Kane. He's done well. He's done well with the injuries, getting all them goals. Fantastic. Brilliant.
Yeah. It's an every season thing with Kane, though, isn't it?
Yeah. There's always something. Yeah.
It's always when he hits a good peak of form as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this rate, talking about defenders, I reckon Gareth Bale will be left back by next week. So
imagine that.
His roots. Yeah, that's where it'll go. Jose, send him back to Real Madrid. I've worked on him for you. He's a left back for you. The next results, we got Wolverhampton 0, Leicester 0. I thought this was again, Wolves look decent for me. They look very good. I'm struggling to think like why they're not higher, because they look really good on today's performance. I've got to say, and they always get the best out of their team. They if there's anyone that's done some good business over the last few years, it's them. They've done some great business, and like for very low prices as well.
They're just struggling to score goals, I think. They had a big chance for Fabio Silva. He tried slotting it in between the keeper's legs, and it deflected and just went past the post. They've brought in Willian Jose. It's good. It's been interesting to see how he does, because he's a goal scorer in La Liga. Whether he brings that over, we always see a few players like Soldado, Negredo struggle at first when they come to the Premier League. They're used to a lot of a slower game. So it'd be weird to see how he adapts to it, but I think they're just struggling to score goals. And if I watched this game, and Leicester, they had the right game plan to not concede. Every time Adama Traore got the ball, they brought him down, and that stopped Wolves' attack. And they had one chance, really, Wolves, and they missed it. Leicester were quite unlucky, really. Vardy just coming back from an injury. He had a couple of chances where Vardy 3 weeks ago would have put that away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Leicester seems to have gone off the ball a bit recently. I mean, obviously Vardy's absence recently has, really affected him. I mean, he's obviously their talisman. He really is. He's just feel like he's an evergreen player. Considering he's older than Cavani and looks about 10 years younger. He's still got outrageous pace as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was 35 or 34, whatever he is, I could barely walk, let alone run at the pace that he does. So it's a fair play to him. But yeah, I mean, I think Leicester will be there or thereabouts again in the top 4. But it's a tough competition this year.
That's a missed opportunity for Leicester today.
Huge.
Yeah, Wolves are no mugs though. No, they're really not.
I'm not disputing that, but they have struggled, and you can't just put it on Jimenez. I know he scores a lot of goals, but I look at that one and I think Leicester, where they need to be, they needed a win today. But it's as you say, another 0-0. So
Wolves had a few chances first half.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, it was they didn't look too bad at all.
Good side. I'm not disputing that. They just haven't hit it, have they, as they normally do.
Do you think that Jimenez is going to be back before the end of the season?
Apparently so, yeah.
Mad, innit? It's mad to think.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was done, to be honest.
I would have thought so as well. It's a miracle if he can get in.
What was his actual diagnosis in the end? Did he fracture his skull, was it?
Yeah, that was it. It's just a fractured skull. But it looked like at the time it could have been a lot worse and have complications because it was a savage injury, wasn't it? But it
was awful.
Seemed to be all right. I think Wolves, though, I think they're just like 1 or 2 players away from being a top 4 club. I really do. If they keep their players that they are right now, because a lot of people are bouncing around, like the Ruben Neves, the Adama Traores, they managed to keep hold of those players, get another really good centre-back in, and possibly another striker, as well as Jimenez, as well as Fabio Silva, then I think you could be looking at the same as what Leicester's doing this year, maybe, pushing for a top 4 spot.
Yeah. Now, sorry, John. I was going to cut you off there.
Well, now we end, of course.
That's all the games covered.
Mike's got to go now.
Come on, Michael.
Liverpool 1, Manchester City 4. Today's result. I'll start proceedings off here and let Mike gather his thoughts. I'm sure he's had time to calm down. But you know what? To be honest with you, neither team looked like they were doing an awful I think 4 is a bit too much in reflection of how the game was. I think when they got a goal back, I was kind of thinking they were still kind of in it for me, the way the game had been going. But I'm very surprised with just how good Man City have kind of come on, especially like this turn of the year. And a lot of people were doubting Manchester City at the start of the season. There was lots of injuries going on, and obviously they've had all these games in hand as well, and that's kind of been not a true reflection on where they should be. So I think they've been in the shadows, and it's perfect timing for them now because they're catching up with the games, they're playing the top teams, and they're getting the results. So it's kind of a master plan really coming off. But still, I have to say, this season, I'm still not convinced truly that Manchester City are going to win it yet.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's done.
I think it's done as well, yeah. I mean, that's the Mardy United fan in me from last night still. But really bitter and salty about last night.
We win 9-0 and I'm like, it's still on. We won 9-0. We drew 3-all. Yes, done.
Yeah, we'd have won yesterday. I thought, we're still amongst it here. But no.
Why I say that is the fact that I've got a feeling when all these more competitions come along, I think they may get distracted. I know what they really want more than a league, and I just got a feeling they're going to go all in that, and they're going to take their eye off because this season's a wacky season. Home and away doesn't mean anything as much anymore, and because if they go out of it as well, that's going to have a huge effect on them. And I've just got that feeling, but I could be wrong.
You know what's going to happen, don't you? You know what's going to happen is they'll run into us in the Champions League. We'll win the Champions League to make up for not retaining the title this season. It's fine. So that's what Jurgen Klopp's plan has been all along, I believe. So we'll see that happen later on the year. But bit of a tentative start in the game today. Both teams feeling each other out. We had a few chances early doors. Mane with a header that he put just over that could have been a goal. Firmino hits a shot that could have gone in on another day. Towards the end of the half, Thiago had a free kick that I thought they were going to leave to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I noticed Man City had one of the defenders being used as a draft excluder for that one, so that was a bit different. But and then Gundogan gets that. Gundogan got that penalty, didn't he? That was a bit soft, I thought. I thought Fabinho was running away from play, and Sterling ran into his legs. So I mean, it was a bit of a soft penalty, and another disastrous penalty for Man City at Anfield with Gundogan putting it into the back of the crowd. It was a bit of a Super Bowl punt, that one, I thought. The back of the crowd,
back of the seats,
back of the stadium. What was it the commentator said there? Near the top corner of the stadium, he said in the commentary. But then came out second half, and Gundogan got that goal. It came in, and Alisson made the save, but he didn't get it away very far. And you'd hope there'd be a defender there to clear that away. It looked pretty innocuous, and then Gundogan's first man to the ball. He's never missing that. So that was 1-0. We got back into it with a penalty to make it 1-1, and then there was sort of about 5 or 10 minutes of madness where City did actually score and Stones scored, I think it was. And I failed to see the replay on all the offsides. It didn't look offside when I first saw it, but I saw there was problems then. And then, but at that point, I'm still thinking it could go either way at 1-1. I'm thinking we could turn back on here and get this, but then Alisson seems to just have a bit of a nightmare. He's passed one out to one of their players, got it back to him, and then passed it out to another one, and they've scored. That wasn't great. And then does exactly the same thing about 5 minutes later, and it's game over. And then we did concede that other one. Foden at the end, wasn't it? Scored a cracker that was good.
Yeah.
Fair play. It possibly could have been 2-1 on a different day. We would have showed up and been a bit different. But I think earlier on in the week was the result that hurt us the most. I thought because when you lose to Brighton at home, that's to me was the sort of end of the title chase there for me. And then today was just rubbed salt in the wounds. And 4-1 was a bit. I think it looks like they've had a good game, whereas really I didn't think it was one of Man City's better games. I don't know what everyone else thought, but I didn't think City looked as exciting today as they have in other games. And on another day it could have been a completely different story. But we just don't look good enough at home at the moment. We look like we're really missing the fans. We're really missing Virgil van Dijk and Jota as well. I've said for the last couple of matches, Jota's was. He was great when he was at Wolves. He's come to us. He was exciting when the other strikers weren't scoring. He still was. Since we've lost him, we've really struggled. Draw with Newcastle, draw with Southampton, the loss to Brighton and Burnley, both soft losses really that could have been on a different day. But I just think Klopp now needs to give the team a real shake-up. And one thing that upsets me is that there's never any emotion shown at the pitch side. From what I'm seeing, he's always just like. I want to see him going nuts at these players because.
Do you think he's run out of ideas?
No, I think he's got loads of ideas, but I think he's. I don't know quite what. I don't know quite what he's being told to do. You see rumours every day of him leaving to go somewhere else because he's not happy with the money he's getting or whatever. But I mean, he just seems a little bit too passive for me. And I know if there were fans there, you would have saw people absolutely losing their rags today in Liverpool. There was already people setting off fireworks, and. Gary Neville quipped, are they still in tier 2 round here or something? But, I think, there's a lot of people who aren't going to be happy with them results. And, we are still up there. And, we're in, but, it's a bit false because people like Everton have got 2 games in hand over us and are only 3 points behind us. So they could leapfrog us.
In fairness, we're awful at home. Our next 3 with the cup game midweek, we're at home now for 3 games. And we're not good. We're better on the road. We're much.
Well, that's the thing. We used to be good at home as well, and we've lost 3 on the bounce now. So we've scored 1 goal at Anfield since New Year, which was Salah's penalty today, which was a great penalty by the way. And he must still be top scorer in the league, is he? But it's a
just
bit
about,
of a false. It's false economy that because we're not performing as well as we can do, and we are really missing a few players.
Can you have a word with Jason McAteer?
Big Jason, yeah.
Have a word with Jason McAteer about false positions, will you? Because he's obviously he's been a bit of a gobshite recently, saying that we're in a false position, and you lot ain't picked a point up barely since. So I think he's probably cursed you a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was one bit of commentary today that definitely cursed me because when Alisson made that first mistake, I just heard Jamie Carragher go, I was like, what's he doing? As soon as I heard that, I knew it was going to be a disaster. And one mistake's bad enough, but another one straight after. Now, I don't want to make excuses because I know the commentary has made quite a few excuses for us today. They were just trying to talk out how we could possibly be losing. But, Alisson was sick earlier on in the week, missed the game. I don't know if you needed to rush him back. I know it's a big boost to the team seeing, you've got Alisson in goal, you've got Mane back, you've got Fabinho back. That is a big boost. But I think if he's not well enough, leave him out of today's game and let that other keeper have a game because he's made 2 big mistakes, which has cost us the match today. And he is world class. He's if not the best keeper in the world, I would say. But today he's cost us, and it just seemed like he was distracted, and it was I don't know. It's not a good result today, but we go again. So we'll have to see how we get on next week when we play Leicester. So that could be an interesting
game.
We do perform better away. So.
Yeah, be an interesting game next week, definitely. But we've got a latest score as well. Chelsea 0, Sheffield United 0. That's the latest there. Right, we're going to cut to a quick break before I have a chat with Luke.
We are the art in the ring. We are the bright lights. We are the squared circle and the life of the fight. We are the spine buster, the pile driver and brutal knee. We are the thrill. We are the fight. We are Ricky Knight. We are the chalk slam and the spear. We are the fans, the chanting and the flowing beer. We are Jess, Johners and John Scott. We are the crowd pleasers, the nail biters and the risk takers. We are here to capture for you to admire. We build the vision for you to explore. Here at Powered 4.
All right, welcome back to Added Time. All of that great stuff and much more available on Powered 4 TV. But I am joined now by our guest this week, Omega Luke. Luke, how are you, mate?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for having me on. I really enjoyed that football chat. I haven't really spoken to a group of lads about football like that for a long time, so it felt good.
Yeah, it's a good bunch of lads as well. We have a good bit of banter as well, but we've got a nice mix of different teams to talk with, so it's good. It's always nice to see Liverpool lose as well, to be honest.
That's probably why I'm so upbeat, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Mike in the corner in the studio giving me the V's, but yeah. Right, so you are a YouTuber, but also you're a bit of a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I get around a bit, don't I? I started off doing podcasting, wrestling podcasting as well. I had my own wrestling podcast. I went on Simon Miller's wrestling podcast a couple of times, and he sort of said, if you're quite good at it, if you want to do it, I think you should go for it and do it yourself. Mm-hmm. Do your own one. So, I started my own a couple of years ago, and then I ventured into wrestling YouTube stuff. And while I was doing that and learning basically more and more about that, I always played a certain football game, Football Manager. It's a game that I've played for years and years, and a lot of people can vouch that if you have played it once, you'll buy every single year because it's very addicting. You plug 100%. A lot of hours into it.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
And I was always playing it, and I always watch the big YouTubers play it as well. And I just thought, I know how to record now. I've practiced sort of this content creation thing, and why don't I just start recording what I'm actually doing instead? So I think FM19, near the end of FM19, I started doing my own. I started a new channel, started doing my own stuff, and it's kicked on from there, really.
How are you finding it? Because I do YouTube stuff with gaming as well. Obviously you're doing something very specific with Football Manager. How do you find that building has been going since you started doing it?
It's weird because when I did the wrestling stuff, I found it very difficult to attract an audience, and I felt like I couldn't find my niche. And then when I started doing the Football Manager side of things, after I was only on 60 subscribers, FM Scout, which is a website and a YouTube channel I've used for years and years, approached me to start doing videos, and I was like, well, that's huge. It was a big break for me. They had sort of like 38,000 subscribers at the time. So I jumped at the opportunity of doing that, and they're basically just an educational channel. So I kind of had to get used to doing educational videos, which I've never really thought about doing before. I only ever really wanted to do like what I'm playing and my Let's Play save, and I've kind of fell in love with it. I kind of fell in love with the idea of helping people and bringing something to somebody else's attention rather than just the entertainment side of watch what I'm doing in my actual save. So from that, I've kind of kicked on from that and found myself a bit of an audience, and it's carried on from there. And I think at the start of FM 21, as the game came out, I had roughly just over 5,000 subscribers. So I'm up to 14,000 now after a couple of months. So it's really kicked on for me this year, especially. So so far it's so good. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean it's great to find that one thing. So sometimes it just clicks. Like you find that one thing that you fall in love with in terms of content creation, and it just clicks. You find your audience, and then it's full steam ahead from there. But it's great that you're doing that. I mean, to be honest, I play Football Manager, but I'm terrible at it, so I might have to come and educate myself on your channel myself. But so you are still doing the Let's Play save as well, right?
So I do it more on Twitch now. So at the end of FM 20, I was kind of working out what worked and what didn't. And it's kind of what I speak to a lot of like new people, new content creators who do FM, and they always ask me like, you've had a substantial growth in the last year, like how I want to do the same and stuff. And the trouble is everybody just sticks to their comfort zone, and they just stick to what they know and what they love. And it tends to be Let's Play stuff. Everyone's doing a Let's Play series. So you need to distinguish yourself from the rest. And my first advice to anyone who comes to me and asks me about that is make yourself unique. Give yourself a unique point for why people will go to you rather than anyone else on YouTube. Because if they wanted to watch a Let's Play stuff, you've got Dr. Benji, Work the Space, Delujo, Loki Doki, who are all on 50,000 subscribers plus, nearly over 100,000 subscribers. Why would they come to you and watch your stuff? That's the question you need to ask. And you need to distinguish yourself into your own little niche. And I think that's really what I realized. I did a Let's Play series which lasted something like 45 episodes. It ended with a Champions League final, and I got like 500 views. I put a tactic tester out the day after, and I surpassed 500 views within like an hour. And I just like all of that build up for that huge outcome at the end, all of that hard work and putting in behind the scenes, and hardly anybody tuned in. And I felt myself like not loving it as much. Not because of the views were down, but because there's a lot of stuff you still have to do off camera. Whereas the content I do now, it is a lot to do off camera, but it's a means to an end. And the majority of the stuff that happens is when I'm recording. So it's better that way for me, I think. I prefer it this way.
That's fair. I mean, you're right. I think if, when you do put so much hard work into something, I think it could, it definitely gets disheartening when, you don't get as many views on it, or you don't get as many listens if you're a podcast and stuff like that. And sometimes you can fall out of love with it, but then, it only takes one little thing to sort of bring you back into it. And it's great that you have, tapped into, what is quite, a niche market there with the tactics and teaching people how to play the game. It's quite a unique thing you're doing there, which is awesome, I think.
Yeah, I think as well, you need to make sure you're enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, some
Absolutely.
people, if you're, I would have still continued just doing Let's Play stuff because I enjoy it. I enjoy just making content, and I enjoy playing the game. But when I started finding myself like getting the views from doing something different, and people were interacting with me doing that side of thing, then that's where I was like, right, I need to trial this out. I need to venture into the player spotlights and tactic testers and that kind of thing, and find my own kind of niche. And the fact that I knew I needed to find something that somebody else wasn't doing was when I sort of picked that role. And from that, when I started seeing other people doing it as well, because they seen the success that I started to have, that's when I knew I kind of had what I needed to carry on with.
Excellent. No, it's great to see you doing well. Let everybody know where we can find you on Twitch.
So Twitch is twitch.tv/MegaLuke Gaming. That's where I do my Let's Play stuff now. I've got a youth to gold save. It's quite an entertaining save. And then, of course, on YouTube is MegaLuke Gaming.
Awesome. Now, before we do move on to something else, you are a Man United fan, as we've established.
I am, yes.
What's your assessment of Ollie so far? Are you happy with how things are going, or are you one of the Ollie out brigade?
Before Christmas, I was Ollie out, and then it's difficult because you're starting to see what he's trying to do, and I think that's all I wanted. All I wanted was for us to win, but I wanted to see us have our own kind of DNA, because under Sir Alex Ferguson, it was attacking wing play and it was relentless and it was entertaining to watch. And then we've had so many managers since which just haven't given us anything to be excited about. Mourinho, we mentioned earlier. Louis van Gaal was very defensive, and David Moyes just, I don't think, had a clue what he was doing. It was a bit overwhelming, getting rid of all the staff and stuff. It was just a disaster from the off. But I think now that Ollie's come in, obviously the worst thing I think Man United did last season, or the season before, was offer him a deal before the end of the season.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have offered him the deal until he had got to the end of the season, because we looked like we were nailed on for a top 4 spot, and then all of a sudden it didn't happen. So we kind of, that was the big mistake we made. And ever since then, I think he's been trying to win us back over, get to that love and feeling again when he had those first 10, 15 games where everything was great. And I think now we started to turn a corner. Before Christmas, we were just winning games, and it just felt like whoever we were playing on the weekend, it didn't matter. We were going to win that game, and it was entertaining to watch. And like I mentioned earlier, I felt like sometimes we needed to go a goal behind. Every time we did go a goal behind, I wasn't worried. I thought we're still going to win this. Everyone was pledging their bets on United to still to win, and they still come back and won. So I can see what he's trying to do. I just think he needs to be backed properly now. Too many times we have made some terrible decisions in signings, players that we haven't jumped at where we should have. The likes of Fabinho for Liverpool, we were in for him. We bottled it. They got him. He was outstanding last year. Pretty much helped them win a league and a Champions League. So it's signings like that we should have been making. Ruben Diaz was another one we were linked to sign instead of Harry Maguire, and we chose Harry Maguire. So we just need to make better decisions in the transfer market. I don't think Donny van de Beek was a signing that Ollie wanted to make. I think he wanted to make someone different. The Milinkovic-Savic was one that a lot of people were speaking about, and instead we got Donny van de Beek. So something needs to change. And at the same time as Ollie in, Ollie out, I'm definitely Ed Woodward out. And that's one thing for sure.
100%. I am totally with you with that. It's... The Woodward thing comes up every single year. Every summer, something goes wrong, and United end up looking like fools because Woodward hasn't been able to, do what he's there for. And that's to help broker the signings, and he's not doing it, and it's every single year. Not that I agree with people going to his house and letting fireworks off or whatever, but something needs to change. And I agree with Van der Beek. I like him as a player. I don't think he's the signing that we need if he is there to replace Pogba eventually. Because when he's come on, he's not really done an awful lot. But, I'm reserving my judgment for now because I thought Fred was terrible, but now I think Fred's great. But I'm with you. I think something needs to change, but I don't think Ollie out is the right thing to do at the minute. But I definitely think a change upstairs is much needed.
Yeah, I prefer that much more than Ollie.
Yes, 100%. Now, speaking of Manchester United, a Manchester United legend recently retired from the game. Before we bring the lads back in, I just want to say thank you very much, Luke, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. But we're now going to take a look at the recently retired Wayne Rooney.
It is Rooney then. Oh! Simply sensational. They have their new hero, and he has a hat-trick inside an hour. Look who's running hard after defensively. Wayne Rooney, the net is empty. Big collision.
That tackle and assist for Dallas is absolutely incredible, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. What a player Wayne Rooney was. I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate Mike there in his Liverpool shirt with a Wayne Rooney mask on. I can't say his name. Wayne.
I thought he was joining us on the show then.
I know, yeah.
Special guest galore today.
Great player. I mean, absolute Manchester United legend. Man United's top goal scorer. Just as they've just had a bit of break in here, Chelsea are winning 1-0. Mason Mount has scored, heaping more pressure on an already desperately struggling Sheffield United. We'll go around the screen here and just get everyone's quick thoughts on Wayne Rooney before we do the predictions for the games in 25 weeks' time. John, let's start with you, mate.
Yeah, Mr. Wayne Rooney. I've got to be honest, I've never been a massive Rooney fan, even for England. To be honest with you, I'm not even a big England fan either, if I'm honest, anymore. But Wayne Rooney, you can't take away, like when you look at the stats and you look back at what he's achieved, you can't take that away. He'll go down, I think, as one of these players who has had an amazing career in the Premier League and everything else. But like, really, just to throw it out, and when you guys answer, is just to ask that question: like, is he considered like one of the world's greatest, or is he just like a Premier League great player, or do we consider him as like global star in that department? I'm interested to get that ideas from anyone else. But from my point of view, I think he's had a great career. The stats back it up. You can't like deny that. I'm pretty sure. So, but he was around. I suppose a lot of it is linked with England, I think, and the disappointments that we had. And what was that year where everyone on telly was praying and going to see somebody who could maybe bring him in with his injuries and all the rest of it. So he was there. I think he's one of these guys as well that, like, unfortunately for him, was kind of marketed in a way where he was shoved down your throat quite a bit as well. So maybe that's why I'm a little bit distant of him. But great player, no doubt about it. And amazing career. It's wild for me to think. I can remember when he signed for Man United, and everyone was like, "That's too much money. That's ridiculous." And wow, what a coup in the end.
Yeah, I mean, with England, I mean, that's the press. The press hype everybody up, any youngster coming through, and as soon as it doesn't go right, they're straight on them looking for any sort of negatives they can find about them. And I do think that was the problem with Wayne Rooney and England. He's playing for Man United, he scored a hat-trick on his debut, all of this, and then, all of a sudden, he's England's, great hope. And then all of a sudden that pressure's on him. But it's the same for every young player who comes through. He's the great hope, and then if he doesn't score in a game, he's the one getting the crap. He's the one getting the grief. So, I mean, international level, he's still England's all-time top goal scorer. I mean, that's a record that until somebody breaks it, can't be taken away from him. He is one of England's greatest ever players. He's their top goal scorer. But the press pressure, for me, is what stopped him from being an England great in the eyes of people who aren't Man United fans or Everton fans or whoever else he's played for. But for me, no doubt about it, he is an England great. He is a Man United great, and will always be a Manchester United legend. And no amount of press negativity should ever take that away from him. I hate the press, just so you know. That's me really. I feel like I killed you all off with me going off there. But I think the press ruins a lot of young players when it comes to playing at international level, especially when people. I'm with you there, John. A lot of people don't care as much about England games anymore. I'm one of them, but it's just due to the constant, hyping up in the press, and then when it goes bad, the press slam them, but that's always how it's going to be. And I think that's why a lot of people do switch off from, internationals now and are more club over country. like myself.
Hey, Sonny, leading on from that about the press, when I was working once, Wayne Rooney's kid papped me.
Did he?
So literally, I'm in work looking after Colleen Rooney and the family, and one of the kids comes up to me. I think it was Kai Rooney, and he says, "I've just took this photograph of you while you've been looking after us." He had like one of them little Polaroid cameras, and he took a photo of me, and he's like, "Here you go, mate." I'm like, "Cheers, mate." No one's ever took a photo of me in work before. I was like, "What's this? Why's this kid giving me a photo of myself?" I looked very smart. I had my suit on. But yeah,
you still got
I was
it.
just thinking the effect. Yeah, I've got the suit or the photo. Yeah, I've got it somewhere.
The photo, yes.
No, but it just shows the effect the media has on the kids as well, because obviously if they're paparazzi and the waiters or whatever in their restaurant,
yeah.
But and back in 2003 as well, Wayne Rooney and Colleen Rooney was, the press were following them everywhere. I remember being out in the Albert Dock one night, and I think it was like What's Cooking. So this is like literally right at the very start of his career. And he's having a meal in What's Cooking. We walked past and he was sitting right in the window. And I said, "Oh, there's Wayne Rooney, Colleen Rooney." And as we were there was press everywhere just trying to pap him having his meal, getting photos.
Did you pap him and give him the photo?
No, I didn't get involved. I do enough papping about the place as it is for the wrestling, don't I? So, but it was just strange to think, as you say, though, that the press made such a big deal out of his wife being a wag and all that sort of thing. And did it tailgate his career a bit? I don't know, but I know.
I think it did.
I know for sure he had a great career. That goal I always remember is the one against Arsenal that he scored on his debut for Everton. That was
unbelievable.
Huge. And for somebody, he was trained to play football. That was his life. He didn't get any GCSEs or whatever. But he went on and he wants to play football. He made his life of it, and he's done he did a great job. He was the youngest player to play for England in 2003. He was the youngest goal scorer back then. His move to United is still in the top 10. Me and Stu were looking at the transfers the other day. It's still in the top 10 transfers, isn't it? At 25.6 million. That's a huge amount of money for back then. And
I knew what was coming before that transfer ever happened, because I remember we had an awful season 03-04 under Moyes' first full season at the club. And obviously when you go to the game, you watch it totally differently, don't you? When you see the players. Yeah. I love being at the match. Anyway, let's cut this short. I'll make this short as possible. You could tell a mile off in that team. He was head and shoulders above the rest. Like, it was ridiculous. He was running that game. I think we played Bolton, and the other players, he just couldn't get it. Was all in for the whole game. I think it was like a 0-0 draw in the end. But I knew straight away when he came through at youth level, Moyes was touting him, and he kind of like, is he going to be that good? But it was his build, his age, and all that. He was. It was the upper body, and he's incredible. So good, and great business for us in 2004. And after his Euro 2004 tournament, and then one game I do remember is the game against Fenerbahce in the Champions League.
Yeah,
he got a hat trick, didn't he?
Yes, his debut. Yeah, he got a hat trick. Unbelievable.
He was incredible in that game. It set the tone for me.
How was he on free kick duty? Is what I want to know. How's he slid himself up the pecking order for that?
I always remember the rip in the shirt as well. He ripped his shirt.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
I always remember that. But that
he got a bollocking for that, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he got a bollocking for that.
His head was too big for the shirt.
Yeah, when he got it in, his hair started to fall out. That's why he had to get a transplant.
I just don't like going into his managerial side. I really wish the best to him. And he's got the right guys behind him. I know Steve McLaren's involved. Shay Given's there as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Liam Rosenia is on the coaching staff with him as well. So he's got a good basis of a coaching staff there. So all the best to him. He's been fantastic. He's been fantastic.
I think he's always had the problem. We've never really known his best position. And I think that's something that's always gone against him. He started off as a striker, and then it was like, he's too slow to play up front. And he started playing in the number 10 role, and he was doing really well there. And then all of a sudden, he plays really well in centre midfield, and they drop him back centre midfield. And it's like, oh, maybe this is his new position. And then he makes a blunder or something, and everyone's like, no, stick him back up top. He's a natural striker. And he's never had a nailed-on position. He's too good in so many different positions, but he's not an expert at one. And I think that might be something that's gone against him as what people think of him. And I think as well, his antics off the pitch has not helped what people think of him. You know, the granny stuff and the sleeping with other people that's not his wife and stuff. And I think that's gone against him, unfortunately. In the eyes of the public, it's gone against him. It's made people dislike him in ways which is not based on his football. And I think it was a case for me as a Manchester United fan when he come towards the end of his Manchester United career. It was like, is it time for him to go? And I remember saying to my friend at the time, it's going to be one of those moments where United fans are going to be happy to see him go, but then 5 years or five months later, it's going to be like, I wish we had Wayne Rooney back, because the grass is not always greener. And you kind of, I wish we didn't let him go as soon as what we did. He just brought something a little bit different. He was a natural born leader on the pitch for us when we needed a natural born leader. And when we lost him after and we let him leave United, we missed him. And I don't think we've really replaced him until Fernandes, really.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, by all accounts, speaking of him not knowing his position, apparently he's a really good goalkeeper.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, apparently he's class in goal.
Love him instead of Pickford. And Olsen, for that matter, after last night.
He'll be a better centre-back than Phil Jones.
Oh.
I can guarantee.
Bloody hell. Yeah. Obviously, outstanding player. His off the field antics leave a lot to be desired, but I'm sure we've all done sketchy things in the past. We're just lucky that we're not papped like he is. Apart from Mike, obviously, getting papped by Rooney's kids, which is the...
Yeah. I'll track the picture down for you. It's great.
Definitely do, yeah.
One last thing I wanted to add was he was Player of the Month 5 times. Him and Steven Gerrard have both been Player of the Month 5 times. So that's it.
Only one of them won the Premier League, though. So, didn't they? Michael.
Hopefully, Gerrard.
It was Gerrard, yeah. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Right, so before we call it a night, as people will go sleep to watch the American football game that's on telly tonight, I'm not sure what it is. I'm joking, I know what it is.
Just mentioned about that in the comments as well.
The one exciting thing there, Miley Cyrus on the halftime show.
I didn't know that. I thought it was The Weeknd or someone like that.
I think it might be, I
don't know. Well, JC's just said I'm going to come in like a wrecking ball, whatever happens. So,
right, John, do you want to lead us through the next round of predictions? These are actually close predictions. So this is next weekend.
I'm glad about that.
4 weeks' time.
Yeah, I'm glad about that. So we got Leicester at home against Liverpool. That's going to be a big game there, I think.
That'd be a good one, that, yeah.
Yeah, it's kicking us off. I'm going to go... I think Liverpool will bounce back. I'm going to go for a Liverpool win.
Yeah, I'm going to go Liverpool win as well.
Are we just doing win or loss or draw, or are we doing scores, guys?
Well, I am. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, I'm going to go Liverpool 2-1. I think Leicester will score.
Is Luke getting involved as well?
Yeah. I'm going to go Liverpool 3-1. I think you're right.
I'm going to go 3-2 Liverpool. I think Leicester are going to put a couple in.
And right. I think 2-1 as well. I think 2-1 to Liverpool. So I think we'll bounce back as well. I hope we do.
So now that we've all said Liverpool are going to win, Leicester are probably going to win about 5-0.
Come on, Leicester.
Make us look like total mugs next week when we come on
here. Crystal Palace up against Burnley. I'm going Crystal Palace home win for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Christ, that's a tough one, actually. I'm going to go Palace home win. But only like a small win, not like a big one, like 1-0.
I reckon that could be our obligatory 0-0 of the weekend. You've always got to have
quite
one.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, always got to have one. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-2 in that one, I think.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Expected a bit much there.
Goals. Let's get goals. Hey, I know Sean Dyche sets up in a certain way, but yeah, I think, I'm going to go 2-2. I'm going to stick my neck out for a 2-2, Sonny.
All right. Hey, I hope it does come off.
I was going to say, I think Burnley have looked a lot better recently, but I think Palace will beat them at home, so I'm going to say 2-1.
All right. All right, big scores predicted for this next one then.
Yeah, well, Man City up against Spurs. Probably Jose will go with Park the Jet at the back in this one. And yeah, this is obviously a before the finals. So psychologically, this is going to be a bit of a nightmare if this is a joke result. But I can only see him going defending. I think Man City will win. As hard as it is for me to say, I think even if Spurs go out and do park a bloody great plane in front of it, we just ain't good enough at our defence at the moment. We've lost that discipline. I know we did do well against them at home, and Pep could not find a way to get past what we were doing. But I think they're going to be buzzing after this weekend.
I can't see anything but a Man City win. I'm going to go, I think 3-0 City.
Yeah, I agree. I can't see Tottenham really putting up a bit of a fight, to be honest. I think it is going to be at least a two-goal win for them. I'm thinking maybe a 2-0.
I'm going to go with 3-1 on that one, boys, to City. Sorry, John.
Yeah, sorry,
John. That's the same that I said as well. 3-1. Sorry, John. But best of luck. You never know. They didn't look as good today, City. I didn't think as they have been. So
missing De Bruyne, isn't they? That's the problem. They're missing their talisman.
Have we got the Sunday games as well to talk about here? Oh, there we go. Get in. Right.
There we go.
Go on in, John. Sorry,
so, yeah, we've got Southampton up against Wolves. God, this is a tough one. I think this is a draw. I'm going to go for a draw.
Yeah, that is a really tough one. Both teams, in a similar form, but Wolves looking like they're starting to pick up a bit. Southampton maybe dropping off. So I'm going to go for a Wolves away win, 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that as well. I think Southampton, they're on a bit of a barren run at the minute. Losing to Newcastle, getting absolutely demolished by United. I think a Wolves 1-0.
I'm gonna go 1-1 on that one, boys. That's what I'm thinking.
And I think Southampton might just show back up next weekend. So I'm going to say Southampton 2-0 win.
Ooh, be a bad result for Wolves, that would.
Yeah, it would. But just the way the season's been going, so up and down in that mid-table.
I agree.
I think Southampton have had a couple of bad matches, and I just think they've had a bit of bad luck as well to get the post. They've had goals disallowed. So yeah, I just think. I think Wolves are still missing that striker, and obviously
Danny Ings hasn't been right since he's come back. But I'm sure he'll start getting back in the goals. Danny Ings, that's what they need.
I think it's going to be next weekend.
All right, there we go.
Then we got West Brom up against Manchester United. I'm going to go. I think this will be closer than what you think, but I'm going to go Man United.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be an absolute trouncing at all. I think United won't. Well, I mean, I think we'll win. I think it'll be. I think I'm going to go 3-1 United. We'll concede because we're awful at the back.
I was thinking the same 3-1. To be honest, I think we'll probably go 2-0 up. They'll get one, and then we'll take an age to score a third in the end to seal them.
I'm going to go 4-1, boys. I think at the top there, you are very good. And they're not. Allardyce just can't get anything, can he?
Allardyce.
He got the draw at Anfield. What's he done since? It's not gone well for him, has it at all? So
he should never have took that job.
No, he's gonna lose his record now, Luke. Yeah. But 4-1 United, Sonny. That's what I'm going for.
I'll take it all day. All day.
I'm going to say 3-0 United. You always seem to have a beating at West Brom, so 3-0.
United. Yeah, and then we got my favourites, Arsenal up against Leeds. And you know what? I mean, Arsenal at home, they ain't been great. I mean, it's not. I don't know. Leeds are funny as well. Like, I love watching Leeds. They're my favourite second team to watch. I love Bielsa's. I mean, trust me, when you're watching Jose, watching Bielsa on the other side, mate, I'm for it. So what? Sonny is not agreeing apparently with this. No, he's not with it. But I tell you, I
Dirty
am.
Leeds, not having it.
back for the days for you, is it? Get the old Cluffy over there. No, I'm totally. I'm going to go I think Leeds will snatch it, and that's not just me being biased. That's just from what I've seen from Arsenal and the way they've been. I think they'll just play at each other. I don't think there'll be much defending going on, and I think it'll be really open. And I think Leeds will get the upper hand. I think about like 3-2 or something.
Yeah, but I think it'll be a really open game. This, I think Leeds will win as well. I just think they'll be well up for it. They are a well-organised team. In terms of going forward at the back, probably not so much, but it depends. It depends whether Arsenal can actually, muster anything to get past Leeds' almost lackluster defence. But I think Leeds will win 2-0.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the game to watch of the whole weekend, to be honest, because of how open play it's going to be. I think if anyone was to pinch it, it would be Leeds, but I'm going to go with like a 2-2 draw. I fancy this one to be a very end-to-end game. A 2-2 draw, I'm going for.
I've got to be fair. Tip my hat to Bielsa, and they play the way they play. But I think Arsenal. I think Arteta's going to get a win here. I've got 3-2 in mind for that. I think it'll be open at the back. They're not great at the back. They weren't good at the back against us. They should have got more out of the game against us. But yeah, Arsenal 3-2. They're shocking at the back, boys. They're not very good.
I personally think Leeds might sneak it away 2-1. So that's what I'm going for. 2-1 to Leeds.
Good.
Fair enough. Then we've got Everton up against Fulham. And I feel bad for Fulham because they really need stuff. But I think I can only see Everton winning this one. 2-0, something like
that. I can't see anything other than an Everton win. Fulham, not great. Didn't really strengthen, if at all, actually. They're not. I have nothing more than an Everton win. 2-3-0.
Yeah, I think the same. I can't even see Fulham scoring. Where do their goals come from? They just don't really look a threat at all. They've got Lookman, they got Mitrovic. They don't seem to be in favour with him. Loftus-Cheek, they're trying to play him as a striker. I don't think he really suits that role. I think Everton's going to win this easy.
Yeah,
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Everton. I tell you what I do like for Fulham. Sorry, lads, that Ingisa.
Yeah, he's decent.
He's a quality player. He is. That'll be one lad that gets snapped at. He'll be staying in the Prem. He's fantastic. Very good player. Sorry, Mike.
No worries, buddy. I think Fulham have looked a little bit better recently, but not, still not picking up wins, are they? So I think Everton will win 2-0. As much as I don't want that to be a result, I think that's what could happen.
We need to get this home form sorted, lads. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
That's the game to do it.
Should beat them.
There we go. Right. So we'll be back next week at 7:00. Hopefully, I completely lost my trail of thought there. I was saw the thing change at the bottom of the screen there, and I completely lost it. Yeah, we'll be back next Sunday at 7:00. My mate Steve's going to be joining us. He's a Leicester fan, so that'll be interesting with Leicester playing Liverpool. But thanks to Omega Luke for joining us. Luke, where can we find you, mate?
Thank you very much for having me, guys. Really enjoyed that. You can find me on Twitter at Omega Luke, YouTube Omega Luke Gaming, Twitch Omega Luke Gaming.
There you go. And anyone else got anything they want to promote? Mike, I'm sure you're on about 15 different podcasts this week.
Yeah, got loads of fun stuff coming up. So obviously keep an eye out for me on Powered 4 TV. Check out TNT Extreme Wrestling on there. I'm going to be on the Wrestling Travel podcast on Thursday at 4:00 live. So catch up with me then. And we'll be here next weekend on added time at 7:00, hopefully for some of my predictions to come true. So we'll have to see. And hopefully, if we've got a fox in the box next week with the Leicester fan here, let's hope that Liverpool can perform this week and we'll have a bit of a celebration next week. We might even crack out the bubbly, Stu. A little bit of the bubbly.
Get the cobwebs off it. Get the cobwebs off that bottle. Absolutely. Dirty that bottle is, I tell you.
Go check out Stu's Wrestling Podcast as well. And John's always doing great stuff as well.
Yep, over at Powered 4 TV.
There you go. All at Powered 4 TV. But we'll be back next week. So, we'll see you then. Take it easy, guys. Goodbye.
We are about the love of pro wrestling. To re-watch our favourite wrestlers' moments. To live and breathe through the eyes of their opponents.
I swear I'm going to come at you like the pit bull that everyone thinks I am. I'm going to come at you harder and tougher than you've ever experienced before.
Under my belt and prove to people that I'm not just a model, that Mariah May is more than just a pretty face and they can't just kick me around. I actually can prove myself and I can wrestle, and I worked hard to be here.
So it sounds like
scared. I love it. I don't care if you want to step in the ring with me, John Scott, is it? I remembered your name. You get my name right, hey?
It is an absolute joke that you would stand there and ask us that question, that anybody here thinks they even have to ask us that question, and that anyone out there would doubt us. So the next time you want to ask me that question, just read the fucking tweet and the context. You're wasting our time.
Thank you.